How has technology changed in the last 5 years? How about the last 10 years? One major turning point was COVID. I mean, how many Zoom calls did you take before 2020? Now even doing a job interview via video call is commonplace. Many small businesses went online, and it's not unusual now to do your grocery shopping through an app. And it even marked an evolution for technology in banking.
With the pandemic, that experience of I will do as much as I can at my own time, from my own space, has really changed the way clients interact with their branches and what they expect from the bank.
That's Inci Akpinar, Senior Vice President and Chief Information Officer for Canadian Banking Engineering at Scotiabank. In her near 2 decades in the business, she's seen a huge shift in the technology used in everyday banking in Canada. She's here this episode to talk about those advances and where things might be headed. Also joining the conversation is Sebastian Blandizzi. He's the Senior Vice President and Chief Information Officer for Data and Global Wealth Technology at Scotiabank. And he says in banking, along with advancements in tech come other considerations.
Technology delivery and execution and engineering has become easier over the years. We now have tooling that we never had 25 years ago. We're able to deliver with pace and agility and speed. But with that pace, agility, and speed comes risk. And so how do you operate with speed and bring the best to our clients without exposing the bank, which is ultimately our clients, to risk? That is really the pressure.
From the pandemic to AI, security to quantum computing, these 2 industry veterans will walk us through the state of technology in banking, where it's been, where it's headed, and what challenges and opportunities lie ahead.
It really is such an amazing time to be an engineer. It's exciting to see how we can take cool technology and turn it into something that is really, really meaningful.
I'm Stephen Maurice, and this is Perspectives. Inci, Sebastian, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
I'm excited.
Okay, let's talk about today. We're going to start with a little bit of a look backwards, and we'll get to the forwards part. Inci, you've been in this business for a while. Mm-hmm. Where was the financial industry at, technology-wise, say when you started your career? And what have been the big evolutionary steps since then?
That's a really big question, and also makes me feel a little old, to be honest, when I think of like where things were 18 years ago now. But a lot has changed. A lot has changed in terms of how we interact with our clients, our client experience, really, the way we work, the way we show up to work, and the technology that we use especially has really, really shifted. And so I remember days where we would work on, allowing clients to set preferences on what their default account will be online, which is so old now when you think about it. I remember working on projects where we would do builds up until middle of the night because it was so complicated to build your code and actually deploy your code. And we've come a long way. I remember sitting in cubicles with really, really, really tall, fuzzy walls, right? And now I look around the way we work in a much more open, agile space, but also mind. So we've definitely come a long way.
Okay. Sebastian, how does that clock with your experience? What has been the biggest leap forward technology-wise that you've seen? Maybe we'll leave AI out of it. I think we'll come back to that. But how does what Inci described clock with your experience?
Yeah, we'll definitely get to AI. But prior to this latest advancement of AI, I would say probably the advancement of mobile and our ability to access a wider range of clients worldwide, leveraging mobile capabilities. That shift has been dramatic. Mm-hmm. In my career, at least, in financial services, I've always felt attracted to that perspective of being able to be a client's most trusted partner, right? To walk the journey of life with a client and be able to offer them advice as they have major life events. I think that ability to now be accessible via a mobile device that's with an individual throughout their daily lifestyle and being able to access them and being able to communicate with them through that mobile capability. I think I would probably point to that as being the biggest shift because it's a shift on both sides. It allows us to reach out more and reach more people and more clients with our services and to be able to offer that advice. And it allows them to more easily contact us and have a sort of digital relationship with us. So I think it's hard because you're thinking back 25 years, like I feel old too now, but you think back those many years, like what would be that paradigm shift? And I think it would have to be that, because I look at my own lifestyle and I do everything through my mobile devices. So I think that that's the shift.
For sure. I mean, the phone basically is at the center of people's lives. You're looking at it constantly. So that would have been a huge shift, as obviously banking would have been involved in that as well. Did the pandemic have any kind of impact on the way people communicate or interact with their banks?
Mm-hmm. The pandemic actually shifted quite a bit for us in the financial industry. There was a sense of clients wouldn't want to do this virtually or digitally before. And it prevented the banking industry from moving forward with certain kinds of enhancements just because we didn't think clients would need them. And so I can think of, for example, signing up for a mortgage renewal process. There was an understanding or expectation that clients would want to walk into a branch and talk to someone before they signed the papers, and that, regulators would want us to actually see the two individuals who are signing the documents. And with the pandemic, not only did we have to provide capabilities much faster so that we could close the gap on things that we didn't have before, but also we realized clients were willing to and wanting it. And we haven't gone back. That experience of I will do as much as I can at my own time from my own space has really changed the way clients interact with their branches, with their tools, and what they expect from the bank. And so definitely a big shift on that front. But I could also say that it shifted the way we work within the bank. We shifted on what it means to truly work in different locations. We use different tools to come together, to work together. And then we got faster at doing things because we needed to meet certain dates to provide relief for our clients. And so we had to provide maybe the ability to defer your payments for a couple of months for your mortgage. And so we had to deliver solutions much faster to clients. And it created an environment where we had to look at our processes and maybe eliminate some of those processes so that we can go faster. So it had a number of benefits for us, both how we work from within the bank and what we deliver to our clients and how they expect to engage with us.
Yeah, with the speed that technology evolves, I imagine the pressure on you folks who are developing the technology, making sure the bank has the most modern technology must be pretty significant. What kind of pressure has that put on you to be constantly evolving the way you work and the way you interact with clients?
The pressure's not really associated to delivering with speed or the actual execution of building the new product. Honestly, a lot of the pressure is around protecting our clients. And with technology now, and given that it is so accessible through mobile and digital channels, you have to be very careful because the threat actors have taken that as an advantage. And so the pressure is, how do you operate with speed and bring the best to our clients without exposing the bank, which is ultimately our clients, to risk? That is really the pressure. I mean, ultimately, that's something that I wouldn't be able to sleep at night knowing that I exposed client information or made any of our clients vulnerable to a threat actor. So I think that's more of a pressure than execution and delivery, because from a technology perspective, as Inci's mentioned, technology delivery and execution and engineering has become easier over the years. We now have tooling that we never had 25 years ago. We're able to deliver with pace and agility and speed. But with that pace, agility, and speed comes risk, because you might miss something and you have to have all the controls in place and the governance in place. So really the pressure for me and the pressure for the team comes at that. How do you do it in a secure, thoughtful, well-governed manner?
Inci, is that also something that you would be thinking about a lot as well?
100%. The thing that makes the banks such an important part of individuals' life is because it really enables you to be able to live the best life that you set out for yourself. And trust is such an important part of what we do. It is what really allows us to be successful. If a client doesn't have trust in their bank, what do we have then? We have a ability to send money.
No, absolutely. I mentioned earlier, walking the journey of life with our clients. That's trust. And as you grow up in life, you learn it's very easy to lose trust. And it takes one incident to lose trust. And it takes a long, long time to win back trust. And that's where the pressure is. That's where we want to ensure that everything that we do, we take that to heart. You know, the threat actors, the bad actors, they have just as much power now. We shouldn't never lose sight of that. With every advancement, with every paradigm shift in technology, know that the bad actors and the threat actors are also getting a new tool. We've seen it. We've seen the uptick in scams, and we've seen the uptick in exploitation. And with that information being available in such an accessible manner digitally, we really need to up our game in how we protect against that. And that's where there's two sides to it. Whenever we do have that new capability to do more for our clients and to do more for our bank, we also need to think about, okay, well, what does that new capability give a threat actor?
Right. We're going to start looking ahead now. Inci, what do you see as the next big challenge from a technology point of view?
So definitely those are challenges that we're constantly working through. There are also a number of things that we're working on to meet our clients where they need to be or where they are or where they're going. And so we know that we need to do more when it comes to giving the right kind of products to our clients. So we're working on a number of new products that we want to release to our clients. We know that we want to really drive forward even more a mobile-led experience, frictionless, fast, seamless experience. And so there's a number of things that we're doing on that front. We also know that clients want us to show how well we understand them. I mentioned before, we know them in ways that no other entity really knows them. And so how do we leverage that and be there for them in the right ways? Like, how do we really, really give them the right insights proactively so that they are financially better off and that we are helping them with their life goals, their life journeys? You know, it sounds simple, but we know that our client has had a child. And so we need to be there at the right time to support them through the right life insurance, through the right, education saving plans or whatever else their goals are for their children, right? And so we're definitely working on a lot more on that front. And then the way we deliver these services across, whether it's a client making a phone call or a client wanting to walk into a branch or clients needing things faster from us, the way we actually show up for our clients and the tools that we provide to our teams to show up with our clients also need to evolve. And so there's a number of things that we're doing on that front. How do we make ourselves available 24/7 in the right times for those moments for our clients? So there's a lot more to come on the Canadian banking front.
Sebastian, what do you see as the big challenges or opportunities going forward?
I think both the big opportunity and the big challenge moving forward is AI. I've been asked a question for the last 25 years, what keeps you up at night? Mm-hmm. And I've always said cybersecurity, the threat of exploitation and so forth. For the first time, and it was earlier this week, I was asked that question and I said the proliferation of AI. Right. Okay. Again, it's to the earlier point. It brings us great capability. It is in fact a paradigm shift because it allows us to up the learning and up our ability to hyper-personalize for our clients. So it's giving us an ability, a knowledge base to empower all of our employees to serve our clients with an exponentially higher knowledge base. Now, that being said, there is a proliferation of AI and it is so powerful that people are losing sight of what you're actually exposing in the prompts that you're giving these AI tools, these LLM tools. So it's a really interesting time. I would add that I think Inci would agree, we have all these pressures in a large organization, in a bank, to solve these problems and bring technological solutions to the table. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I've always believed that if we could solve it here, you can solve it anywhere, right? If you can solve it in a large organization, if you can solve it effectively here, well, then you could solve it anywhere. And I love the challenge of the problem. So I put forth the challenges we're going to face, but it's a challenge that I feel comfortable that we have a talented group of people That's what gets you up in the morning, to meet those challenges and meet them in a thoughtful way and deliver capabilities to our clients that we can say, hey, we got a new capability for you. You can trust us.
Yeah, as scary as it is, there's also so much that we can do with these tools now and really change the way banking lives in a client's life. It really is such an amazing time. And it's just exciting to be an engineer, honestly. I cannot think of a better time it would have been to be an engineer. And it's exciting to see how we can take cool technology and turn it into something that is really, really meaningful. And so you can see that in many different apps and many different aspects of our lives. Like, did you even know that you needed to watch your car come to you until you had an Uber app? Now I must watch my car come to me. And we get to build that. We get to be that for our clients. It's exciting time.
I just want to add, the only other paradigm shift I see in the future that I would love to be part of, I just don't know if it'll hit in time, because it's something I've always been fascinated by, and it's quantum computing. And quantum computing is picking up steam. I've been envisioning this for 15 years and it still hasn't hit. And I would have predicted 15 years ago that it would have been like 5 or 10 years away, and it's not there yet, but it is coming.
Very briefly, what is quantum computing?
I'm not an expert in this space, but what I could say in a nutshell is quantum computing offers exponentially faster computing power. It would render a lot of our current computing capabilities obsolete.
So basically, incredible supercomputers that make what we have today look like toys.
Absolutely. And I see an uptick in quantum. That is an entirely new paradigm shift. And whether or not that's in my career or not, I want it to be. But that's another exciting paradigm shift that's on the horizon. But right now, we're dealing with a very exciting one.
Yeah. I mean, you talked about the advent of mobile as being sort of a paradigm shift. In retrospect, actually sort of rolled out over a longer period of time. I mean, really with AI and the emergence of these large language models only in the last couple of years, that must have accelerated things to a huge extent in terms of how you look at your work.
It has, but it also has shifted clients' expectations. If you think of moving from web to mobile, that shift in what you expected, whether it was your bank or your social media app, that shift happened slowly, right? Or slower than it is happening right now. And so I think I want to tie it back to what Sebastian was saying. Yes, there's a lot that we're doing to prepare and need to do more. What's going to make the difference is the team that you have around you, the leadership team, the team that you're working with, the engineers you have in your teams, because the speed at which we have to respond to this fast evolving world now is so much more. And it's going to be the teams that you have that allow you to get there. So I think the focus is definitely move faster, but also have the right engagement from the right individuals around to get there.
A perspective to add, the shift to mobile. And I remember back then, Apple and iPhones and mobile devices, they're now setting the standard for an experience. Mm-hmm. Because our clients have them and they're experiencing apps. Mm-hmm. And that has set the expectation now. And that was the expectation we needed to meet within financial services. Okay, so that's an experience expectation that you need to deliver on. Yeah. A lot of that was a technology problem to solve. I think that when you think about the expectation that's now been set with AI, it's an expectation that's a knowledge expectation. You have clients now coming to you exponentially more knowledgeable and dealing with your people already having done research, leveraging AI tooling as an example. So the pressure now and the expectation that's being set now is at a knowledge level.
Right.
And if you think about the difficulty of meeting that level of knowledge, you cannot meet it without having your subject matter experts also leveraging these research capabilities to then couple with their subject matter expertise and then deliver that. And so we do have the subject matter experts in financial services, and the clients are now getting their base understanding and their base understanding and their financial literacy that they're able to get before even engaging with us. It's at a different level.
All-time high.
All-time high. So now we need to up our game. And so all the more reason for us to be able to adopt these types of research capabilities to empower our subject matter experts to look at the research. You know, we've heard about hallucinations. Well, guess what? The subject matter experts in our bank, they're going to be able to detect the hallucinations because they know that subject matter. They are deep in that subject matter. Our clients who come equipped with it may not be able to understand whether or not that hallucination is taking place or whether or not a bad actor has been introduced into the equation. So the clients will come more educated, and that's what we want, because at the end of the day, we want to educate our clients and get them to fully understand the decisions that they're making. We absolutely need our subject matter experts to be at that level and beyond. And so if you think about it from that perspective, that is a huge challenge to meet. It's a much bigger challenge than the experience challenge that we needed to meet with mobile and web. This is a knowledge challenge.
Right.
And those who can't meet that challenge will be left behind. And we have to move fast.
I love how you put it. I can think of the times when it may have been okay to say, hey, you should contribute to your RESP account or RSP account because it's time for that. But now our clients don't want a nudge that says do it. They actually want to understand how much and where they are and how much longer to achieve your goal. And those are not the kinds of things that are easily available to the client, but also to the individuals who are facing those clients. And so these tools will be so important.
You just made me think about like my parents being new immigrants to the country and being sold life insurance or being sold insurance back in the day. And they were reliant on an agent giving them the information. I think about it now, and now you leverage ChatGPT or whatever your favorite tool, Anthropic or whatnot. You leverage that. You can start putting in some of the things you're thinking about and what you'd like to be presented with, and they'll get options. And you'll start with that when you go to an agent, when you go to your bank. Right. You're already starting at a different level. And I love that, because they're educational tools. I think education systems are going to change dramatically because of this capability, and I love it. And then we're going to be forced to up our game.
Yeah, it's definitely an opportunity for us to level up, because what this means is you're no longer going to have product-centric conversations with your clients. You need to bring the entire bank as a journey to the client, and you need to actually build a relationship with the client. And now you need to do that with many clients. And so you definitely need the kind of tooling that we're talking about to do that.
You're not old. Level up. I usually hear that from my kids. I love it.
I'm not that old. But it's a shift, because to the point you're making, it's not just knowledge. It's the right kind of knowledge with that hyper-personalized view of that client, right? And then bringing in all of what we have to offer with all of the tooling to be able to meet the client where they are, because the expectations are so much higher now.
Absolutely.
Okay, for the last question, I'm going to ask you both to get out your crystal ball. What is banking technology going to look like in 10 years?
I'll tell you a few things that I see coming our way as I look at my crystal ball. You will see a hyper-personalized view of our clients. I see a world where you walk into a store or a concert and we tell you that you can actually go to the VIP area because you have X and Y product with us. I see us really taking a really amazing understanding of who you are and how we can help you level up, I guess. So definitely on that front. I see also a much bigger demand for seamless move from different, what we would call channels or interaction points with you. So, whether I am interacting with you through some sort of a different app, even not a Scotiabank app, to walking into an office that may be a Scotiabank office, to making a phone call or having a chat conversation with a virtual assistant. But I see that interaction moving seamlessly. And that will be us, again, coming to face the client from many different views as one. I also see banking embedded in the day-to-day of what we do. So it isn't, for example, you're not going to go buy a car and then go start making phone calls for insurance. You will buy a car and the insurance will automatically come through. And so you would have been banking, but without really thinking too much about going to your banking app or trying to buy an insurance. I see setting up a mortgage embedded in the actual mortgage signing process as opposed to shopping around for rates. And with that, it means a lot of evolution, not only on technology, but also in the kinds of banking products we provide. But I definitely see a big shift into, I'm chatting with you and I say I'm going to send you $50, and for that happening without me having to log into my Scotiabank app and sending you the $50. So banking will be really embedded in what we do in day to day without it being really a banking thing. I also see that, especially as we talked about some of the innovation that's taking place, that at times could be scary, but I see that also really igniting maybe a bigger trust with your bank for our clients, especially as we continue to maintain this trust and then build on it. And I think we will become a trusted partner in our clients' lives. So we will help you put your kid through that really expensive university that you're so fortunate to have such a smart kid for, right? Like, we will be there for you in all of those key moments that matter for you. We will be there for you for the good, but we'll also be there for you for the bad. And then I think we will really become a trusted partner in everything that you do in your life. Like, we will be there for you when you do have to claim that insurance policy that you hoped you never had to claim. And we will make it easy for you. We will be there for you when you are setting your goal for your girls' trip to Vegas. I'm making this up at this point, maybe just dreaming about things that I want to do. But I think that trust will become a much bigger play for us as a bank.
I'm with you. And I do feel that the experience itself is going to get a lot more seamless. I was thinking the same thing on banking. I don't feel the term even banking. It's financial services. It's walking the journey of life, right? In wealth, it's a total wealth offering, right? It's all about every piece that we can bring to the table for the client. How can we give them a total wealth offering, an enriched wealth offering, where we can look at all the different aspects of their financial wealth? I mean, the whole term banking is becoming dated, right? It's around, again, going back to walking that journey of life and providing financial services. And I actually do see that experience being far more seamless.
I think we'll leave it there. Thank you both so much for joining us today. It was a great conversation.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Stephen. I had a lot of fun.
I've been speaking with Inci Akpinar, Senior Vice President and Chief Information Officer for Canadian Banking Engineering at Scotiabank, and Sebastian Blandizzi, Senior Vice President and Chief Information Officer for Data and Global Wealth Technology at Scotiabank. The Perspectives podcast is made by me, Stephen Maurice, as well as Armina Lagaya and our producer, Andrew Norton. For a transcript of this episode, as well as other stories, insights, analysis, and thought leadership, visit our website, scotiabank.com/perspectives. We'll see you next time.